who knows that the more you participate in life, the more you get out of it, the richer the experiences? How many know that? All right, so I'm going to ask you to commit to giving 100% of yourselves so that the collective wisdom of this room we can tap into. So we're going to start out easy by just asking you a few questions to get yourself connected to the topic about embracing change so that you can thrive in life. How many of you would say that you embrace change in your life? That you look at it as a learning opportunity to really take your life on? Or, on the flip side, how many of you view change at times as a threat to your safety, your comfort? Change typically always involves some level of stress. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. So change and stress typically go together. Right? And stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. Stress keeps us safe at times. You know, the fight or flight syndrome. Stress can also get us into action to do things, deadlines, right? What are the top 10 changes relative to stress? The stress that's created from that change. What would you say would be the number one? Death of spouse. Death of a spouse is number one. Number two is the death of a family member. 3 is personal injury or illness. Losing your job is number 4, so there's probably a lot of people that you know that are in that camp. I mean, we have more change in our lives than our grandparents probably had in their lifetime. In 1 year, we go through more change. So we know that rapid change is prevalent in our life. It can come along with stress, but it can come along with a lot of exhilaration and promise for the future. How do we maybe more embrace it? And a lot of it's right up here. It's a mind game. So the reality of change. This column is the land of the status quo, right? So all of us, at times, are represented here in the land of status quo. Have you ever seen a bucket of crabs before? What happens when one crab is trying to get out? It gets pulled back in. Do you know anybody in your life that pulls you back from going for something? So maybe at times you've been a Mexican crab. Maybe you've held people back because you have fear of loss, fear of a change that it would impact you. But that's not where magic happens. That's not where you can be extraordinary in life. So, what happens is that if you're starting to want to wander away and you're wanting to get out of here and do something different in your life, you're going to start moving across into the land of possibility. You've got to go through this middle zone, right? And that's what we call the no possibility zone. This is the reality of change. This is what occurs. If you are truly about being extraordinary and really going for it in life, you got to move out. You got to move forward. Right? And that's what this whole thing is, embrace change so you can thrive in life. There's a really great book, The Power of Story, by Dr. Jim Laird. You know, our stories that we made up about ourselves happened at a very young age. Your authentic self that you were born into this world started to get masks to protect ourselves, to keep us safe. Well, we have stories that go along with that. So the power of story is about acknowledging your old story, knowing that that's what maybe keeps you from living a fully expressed, fully engaged life, to writing a new story. So this is what happens. So you get over here and you're fighting through the noise, your own mentally created noise and those around you. But what ends up happening oftentimes is you make this U-turn and you come back. Does anybody relate to that in life? That's what we call the sucking zone. It's a highly technical term. I've researched it for years. It's patented, but no more. After this workshop, no more an option. It's no longer an option to be in that sucking zone. You know, but when you achieve something that's really out there, it took you time, isn't the satisfaction that much greater when you actually get there and you can relish in it? But it can be scary for us to be around people that are constantly going over. You know, it can be scary, but it also can be exhilarating to be around those people that are usually high energy, have good aura about them, they're positive. I want some of that. I gotta go for what I want in my life. You see, I'm about transforming the world. I'm about having people live their best version of themselves. That's what my coaching is about. Extraordinary living. And it's about giving back. And it's about doing something bigger than yourself. Because that's what truly I believe that we're put on this earth for, is to serve others.
And it's, you know, it's a great feeling because I really feel like I'm on a mission.
How many people would like to be around Paul, given the way he just described it? These are the people that you want in your life. Surround yourself with some of these. So now let's talk about why people resist change. Fear is the biggie, right? But basically what that stands for is false emotions appearing real. How many people have sometimes difficulty falling asleep because they're worrying and they're fearing, right? That's really good use of your time. We changing anything? No. It's acting in spite of that fear, which is the definition of courage. It's going in spite of fear. All right, number 2 is a thing I call ego. Guess what? We all have an ego. We all do. And your function of your ego is to keep you safe, keep you looking good, being right, and being in control. It's a way of keeping us distant, disconnected, not only with who we are authentically, but with other people. If your ego isn't running you, you got a chance of letting that authentic self come out and share your gifts.
It's a mirror of those things that you don't like about yourself. You see in other people, even though you may not recognize it.
So the third reason people resist change is to avoid conflict. Who in here likes to confront other people or confront yourself? I would assume that nobody has a hand. Oh, Cornell! I'm just joking. You're confronting the behavior or the gap in between what you expected and what actually occurs, be it in a relationship, be it in work or whatever. If you address the gap and confront that and not the person, it takes a lot of the emotional charge out of it. And the fourth one that people resist change is a lack of purpose, a lack of a higher meaning. Why am I here in this world right now? When I came out of corporate America after 26, 27 years, I was jaded, I was cynical. I chose that. So the whole thing is I didn't have a purpose. What's your dreams? Which I don't have dreams, I have nightmares. I just get up in the morning, I make sausage, bring home the bacon, so my kids and my family can have a good life, and I'll just be a victim. And don't worry about me, I'll be fine. And, I'll die soon, and I've got life insurance, and all of you will be fine. So how do we overcome resistance to change? Everything starts with a thought that then leads to words. Either words you tell yourself or that you say to others. And habits of thought are your attitudes. Right? And then your words then turn to actions, which then relate to habits that we have. Because we do those actions over and over and over again, and they become habitual. Behavioral scientists say that about 95% of everything that we say and do is subconscious. Only 5% are we truly present to. So what I'm talking about, let's get present to that 5%, because that's where change can occur. That's where we can start new habits, new thoughts, and then replace the others. So it takes a lot of rigor. It takes a lot of people in your life being there, reminding you, and constantly saying, wait a minute, you're falling into that old habit again. Habits die hard. Habits die very hard. So we get the habits, and your habits define your character, which defines your destiny, your purpose. You know, so we talked about surrounding yourself with positive people. It's surrounding yourself with leaders. It's having purposeful goals. It's having, a focus on others versus